staying alive, staying alive. Staying alive. Everybody's hands go up, way up, as the Nashville Predators come back down 1-0 in the third period to pull victory from the jaws of defeat and defeat the Canucks 2-1 in Game 5. They stave off elimination in Game 5, down 3-1, make it a 3-2 series, and bring the Canucks back with them to Nashville for Game 6 on Friday night. Wow. I think that third period took about 20 years off of my life. It's just after 10 o'clock, Preds Nation, when I'm recording this on the West Coast. I'm going to do as much as I can to put as much content into this recap and edit it and get it out to you, because I'm not going to be in the same mood Wednesday after my shift tomorrow. I'm going to use that to recover. As for this game, late scratch for Luke Schenn, who came down with something that he was scratched during the pregame warm-up, so Tyson Barrie had to be dressed in his place. Can't think of a better time than now, Tyson, for you to show up and do something in this game. The Preds' potential last game of the season with unrestricted free agency coming up for you, that you want to find a home and get a decent contract offer in the summer. As for the rest of the lineup, Coach Andrew Burnett keeps the lineup the same. Rick Tocchet for the Canucks goes with Arthur Seelofs again, but Casey DeSmith would be his backup in this game. The first period, not a lot to write home about for either team. Some chances. Preds went 0 for 1 on the power play in the first period, and the Canucks outshot them 7-4, but were scoreless after the first. Much better second period than the first period for the Preds, in a period alone where the Preds would outshoot the Canucks 11-4. Saros was looking dialed in that period, even though he didn't have to make a lot of saves. And we have to keep this in mind. The TV networks love to throw around what Saros' save percentage is, but the thing is, he's not facing a lot of shots, and the ones that he is letting in up to this point in the second period, they weren't really his fault, minus maybe that Lindholm goal in Game 1. I want to compliment the solid penalty kill in the second period on Ryan McDonagh's cross-check. Colton Sissons at one point works his butt off and kills like 15-20 seconds off of the clock by pinning the puck against the boards. And the Preds penalty kill, even though they only had 2 power plays for the Canucks, perfection. Later in the third period, Ian Cole would take a careless high stick on Philip Forsberg. I think that was the Preds' third power play try at that time in the game. And then later on, while the Preds were still on the power play, it looked like Bluger of the Canucks got Tyson Barrie up high, and the Sportsnet crew thought it might have been a follow-through, but to me, and then fortunately, Elliot Friedman complimented the Preds in the second intermission on Sportsnet that they indeed should have had a 5-on-3. I don't know how the refs missed that wasn't a follow-through. That was a high stick. Bluger should have gone off, and maybe the Preds would have had a chance to score there with a 5-on-3. But alas, they don't. 0 for 3 on the power play. Is the power play going to be a sign of this game, much less the series, as we're scoreless after 40? And in my mind, I'm having flashbacks to 2019 Game 6 in Dallas. Biggest third period, really, of the Preds season right here, as the first couple minutes in, chances by both sides. Then, just over 3 minutes into that final frame, Nikita Zadorov comes down the left hash board to Saros' right, gets a shot goal. Saros is cheating a little bit to his right post. Maybe he should have had it. I would like to chop it up to the fact that he's under 6 foot tall, because maybe he would have had it. The shot finds perfectly over Saros' right shoulder and in, and oh my God, all of Preds Nation lets out a collective groan, thinking, oh no, is this going to be the season right here? Saros, who has played as well as he could despite lower shot quantity, we're down 1-0. Is this where the Canucks are going to finally finish them off, even though the Preds have been better in different spurts, and finish off this series. And let me just say, I've seen conflicting talk with people who've seen different angles. I'm wondering, because it didn't look like they used much time to try and review it, that maybe that Zadorov goal should have been challenged for offside. It looked like it was, and not even a situation of the other player's stick being up. I can't remember who was traveling into the zone with him, but I think it might have been good to be challenged, but alas, it's not. Preds trail 1-0 and have to find some sort of magic. Can he at least get this game to overtime, I was thinking in the moment. First, you've got Luke Evangelista about 5 minutes into the third period trying to make something happen, but he can't. But then we might have something here. Nearly 7 minutes in, Dakota Joshua boards Luke Evangelista, and the Preds go on the power play for the fourth time. There's third time a charm. What's it called for the fourth try? 20-something seconds into the power play, the Preds don't waste any time. The captain finally shows up as he makes something happen. He drives into the zone. He gets a shot off on Svilovs as the Preds forwards converge on net. Whack away. You've got a shot by Nyquist, who many of us thought got credited at first. But no, finally, I guess Roman Josi gets a stick on it and gets past Svilovs. And the Preds, oh my God, from thinking that this game was over, are right back in it. Have tied this game at 1. Roman Josi's first of the season couldn't have come at a better time, because I said literally moments before the Preds tied it that this was the moment when the big names who get the big money on this team would have to show up to bail out Saros. Just under 8 minutes left to go in regulation now. Solid zone entry by the Preds. Philip Forsberg skates down. He's got somebody with him that I'll get to in a moment. He gets a shot off on Svilovs just right that maybe it'll go in, but otherwise it will create the perfect rebound, and it goes right over to Ryan McDonough, who has the Cumberland Gap staring at him, which is Svilovs' net, and he puts it wide. Oh my God, Ryan, you have to put that in the net. But never you fear, because with just over 7 minutes left to go in regulation, good zone possession by the Preds in the Canucks zone. Gustav Nyquist gets a puck out to the center point between the face-off dots at the blue line to Alex Carey, who lets one rip, and it finds the net past Svilovs. The Preds with their first lead of the game. Carey's first goal of the playoffs. The Preds have a 2-1 lead. Preds not looking to sit back, because moments later, Jason Zucker gets a chance to try and extend the Preds' lead, but Svilovs stops it. We've reached under 2 minutes left to go in regulation. Rick Tocchet pulls Artur Silovs as it's all hands on deck to try and tie it for them. Preds work well, a lot better than they did in Game 4 at home. Maybe it's not the pressure of being at home. They learned something from defending that lead. They clog up the shooting lanes. Yes, the Canucks can pass it around, but they get nothing. They can't get very much on Saros. Couple dump outs by the Preds, couple re-entries by the Canucks. With about 5-6 seconds left, the puck comes to Saros. He makes sure to throw it into the corner so the clock doesn't stop. The final seconds tick down, and ladies and gentlemen, the Preds have staved off elimination, winning this game in Rogers Arena 2-1. They trail in the series, but they stay alive for another game. Game 6 back home in Bridgestone, now trailing in the series 3-2. Pardon me, Preds Nation, I'm still trying to bring my heart back down to normal pace. I know by the time you're watching this, it'll probably be Thursday. Wish me well that I got a half-decent night's sleep from being too pumped up from this game. Amazingly, during this season, this team gave us so much joy. It's amazing they could give us at least one more game of it. We'll see what happens in Game 6. After they got their doors blown off the day after Valentine's Day at home to Dallas 9-2 and gave us that 18-game point streak. They struggled down the stretch trying to clinch that playoff spot, and when they fell behind 1-0 in the third period against a Canucks team that seemed to be getting all the breaks from the hockey gods in this series. I'm not complaining anything about the officiating. I'm just saying they were getting the breaks. We all saw what happened in Game 4. But the Preds found themselves another gear. The big names showed up. First, Nyquist, Forsberg, Yossi had a little bit more in them, and I expect a little bit more when they get back home for Game 6 when they were able to tie it. And then Alex Carey, the upcoming free agent, the rental to be who wasn't traded away, helped extend this Preds season at least one more game. And if the Preds go on to pull the comeback, hey, I know they still have to win Game 6. I'm going to love to see the stories that come out of this series. Because, as we all remember, the longtime Preds fans remember, this Preds team was in this exact same situation with this Canucks team back in 2011. They were down 3-1 after Game 4, and Barry Trotz said he told the team, hey, we're coming home regardless after Game 5. Why not bring the Canucks with us? I wouldn't be surprised to hear something similar was said about that. And Andrew Burnett, I left out with all my frustration from Game 4. Andrew Burnett was on the Minnesota Wild team that was down 3-1 to the Canucks in a 2003 second round and helped propel that Wild team to winning Game 5 in Vancouver, winning Game 6 in Minnesota, and then helping to win Game 7 back in Vancouver. Hopefully, he gave them some pearls to this roster of what it takes to complete this. If this team can pull off its first 3-1 series comeback in franchise history, it would not only be that, but it would also finally put an end to that big fat zero of losing Game 1 of a playoff series. But alas, one thing at a time. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. They have Game 6 to worry about Friday, but it's back in the friendly confines of Bridgestone Arena. They're flying home tomorrow to Nashville, and they're bringing the Canucks with them. Whew. So that is it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, click like if you liked this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. You can find my social media by clicking on a channel name. Tell all your friends about Redemption. Thank you to everyone who has found my channel. I think I'm up almost 50 subscribers since the playoffs started. Game 4 has 2,500 views. I know a lot of that is from Canucks fans. I hope you're appreciating your stay, and I hope any of you who subscribe stick around no matter what happens in Game 6 and 7. And everyone, catch your breath, recover over the next 2 days, because this team needs us back home at Bridgestone on Friday.